Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an insight. Episode 246. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, in the previous episode, we listened to the Annapurna Siddhi transpired by various saints, and in that connection, we were heeding to the Leela related to Swami Samarthar. As per the Leela, Swami Samarthar came to a place known as Ramagiri to visit his devotee Ravoji and to accept the food offering he had intended to. On that day, devotees from neighboring villages flooded to Ravoji's house to have darshan of Swami Samarthar. Ravoji and his wife prepared the food, and when they requested Swami Samarthar to eat, he said, "Let all those came for darshan be served the food first, then I will have my food." There and his wife were perplexed because they desired to serve 40 to 50 Brahmins and cooked food that would suffice only these many, whereas now there is a huge crowd of devotees assembled to meet the great saint. Omniscient Saint Swami Samarthar, knowing the plight, called Ravoji and said, "Go to the market and get some buckets." In each of the buckets, he placed one deity per pail from the altar of Ravoji. For instance, Lord Kandoba's Pratima in one of the pails, in another Goddess Renuka Devi, and so on. Now, on top of the Pratimas, the cooked food was filled, and the pail was covered with a cloth. Now Ravoji and his wife were asked to circumambulate around the tulsi plant there, placing the pails on their head. After they circumambulated the tulsi plant, the pails were kept on the floor, and Swami Samarthar instructed them to not open the cloth covering the pails, but to serve the food to all the devotees. Lo, accordingly the food was distributed, and it sufficed thousands of devotees, and lot of food was also left over. This enthralling divine sport depicts the Annapurna Siddhi of Sri Swami Samarthar. Let's now listen to another enthralling Leela, and this was exhibited by a renowned saint, Sri Jnanananda Giri Maharaj. When the great Guru was at Siddhalinga Mutt, there was a cook named Ranganathan, and he was in charge of cooking food for 7 people, including Swamiji and himself. One day, as usual, after cooking the food, he called Sri Swamiji to dine. Swamiji said, "Will come." By then, a lady from the neighboring village came for darshan. She had a big pot of yogurt on her head, a can of milk on one of the hands, and a bunch of leaves containing 50 to 60 leaves on the other hand. Now she placed all these items in front of Swamigal and said, "Swamiji, owing to your blessings, our buffalo gave birth to a calf, and because of which we got so much milk. I desire to offer some of its produce to you, and hence I brought some yogurt, milk, and a few leaves to offer." Sri Jnanananda Swamigal told Ranganathan to keep everything inside, as it will come for use later. Lo, in few minutes, a jeep containing 10 government employees came to the ashram. had darshan of Swamiji. After showering his grace upon those visitors, Swamiji said, "You all had come from there and must be hungry, so come and have some food." Ranganathan was astonished because he had cooked to feed 7 of them and now there is an additional 10 people to eat. While serving the food, he tried to serve a very small quantity for all of them as he thought it would be insufficient for everyone. But to his shock, even after serving 10 extra people, the food in the vessels didn't get reduced but was up to the rim as they were previously. Ranganathan thought this was because of his smartness in serving the food. Following this, he went inside the kitchen to wash some vessels. When he came back to the main hall of the ashram, he found a newly married couple accompanied by 50 to 60 people. The marriage party came for having Sri Jnanananda Swamiji's darshan. After blessing the couple, Swamiji told them, "All of you must have the wedding feast at our ashram." Ranganathan was in a fix as there was no ample food to serve so many. The leaf bundle brought by the lady was unwrapped. Wonder of wonders, there was enough of leaves for the marriage party, including Swamiji, Ranganathan and 5 others associated with the ashram. Miraculously, the food that was cooked earlier itself was sufficient for all these people. Thus, Sri Jnanananda Giri Swamiji's Annapurna Siddhi was exhibited. Getting back to the original thread, after narrating about the Annapurna Siddhi of Sri Sai Maharaj, Hemat Panji closes this chapter. Now let's step into chapter 36 that has been titled as the all-pervasiveness of Sai and the fulfillment of his blessings. This chapter is beautifully narrated in 170 Marathi verses known as OVs. Hemat Panji commences this chapter quoting some philosophies and then continues to write about the divine sport of Sri Sai Maharaj. It starts with a story related to 2 Goa gentlemen. Both were friends and came to have darshan of Sri Sai Maharaj. To one of them, Sri Sai Baba asked for ₹15 as dakshina and he immediately offered, whereas nothing was asked from the other. So, the second person on his own offered ₹35 as dakshina. Sri Sai Maharaj returned that money to him saying that he doesn't need that. This surprised him. Shama was also present there. He is bold and straightforward. Owing to his closeness with Sri Sai Baba, he takes liberty in questioning the act of Sri Sai. We have noticed that in various Leelas, similar conversation took place in this one too. He asked Sri Sai Baba, "Deva, 2 of them came together. You took dakshina from one and denied from the other. Is this fair on the part of the saints?" Shama is trying to say that Sri Sai Baba is being partial, which is not the attribute of saints. Shama also said, "Had I been in your position, I would have accepted this ₹35 also." Sri Sai Maharaj smiled and said, "Shamya, you don't know anything about this matter," and continued to speak. Devotees, please pay attention to these significant sayings of Sri Sai Maharaj related to dakshina, as it expounds the key features of dakshina. He said, "Shamya, you don't understand the fact that I never accept anything from anyone for gratis. This Masjid Mai collects her debts. By this, Sri Sai Maharaj is stressing the point that he does not collect dakshina from devotees on his own accord, instead takes only whatever is due by them to the Lord. The masjid in which he resides is the abode of God, whom he addresses as Masjid Mai. Then Sri Sai Baba continues, "Do I have any house or family, nor I have any desire or responsibilities to shoulder. Still, I collect this money because it is Lord's debt that had to be settled, so I am collecting." Devotees, though Shama questioned the equitable nature of Sri Sai Maharaj, he responded to him with utmost patience. Following this, Sri Sai uttered a very significant statement which is considered as the crux of the Sri Sai SATCHARITRA. It is, debt, enmity and murder must be atoned for as there is no escape. It means one must endure the punishment regarding these three subjects and there is no way out. If we observe carefully, we can understand that the coming chapters in the Sri Sai SATCHARITRA emphasize repeatedly this declaration of Sri Sai Maharaj. For instance, the story of Chennabasappa and Veerabhadrappa's story talks about how enmity that prevailed between two brothers ruins their present life and their following births until it is completely worked out. So is the case with murder. Sri Sai Baba in his above declaration uses the term debt, which does not only mean borrowing or lending loans but has a deeper connotation. The term debt can also be in the form of assurances or owing to do a thanks offering to God. Generally, people pray to God earnestly to get their wish fulfilled and take a vow to do an offering. But when their prayer is granted by God, they forget their vow or keep postponing fulfilling it. Likewise, devotees give assurances and don't really care to honor it, whereas Sri Sai Maharaj pays utmost importance to his utterances and always adheres to it. In this connection, let's recall the miracle in chapter 33 related to Appa Kulkarni. He told his wife that had he been present at home, he would have given at least rupees 10 to the fakir as alms, whereas she sent him with just rupees 1. Knowing his desire, Sri Sai Maharaj to collect rupees 10 desired by Appa Kulkarni went to him as a fakir and asked him dakshana. Appa, unaware of this, gave him rupees 3, but Sri Sai asked for more. He again offered rupees 3, but Sri Sai demanded more. So he borrowed from his friend and gave rupees 3, but Sri Sai wasn't as satisfied. He wanted more dakshana. Then Appa Kulkarni told him to come to his home so that he can offer whatever money he need. Accordingly, Sri Sai Maharaj went to Appa's home and asked for dakshana. Appa had one 10 rupees note and he gave that to Sri Sai Maharaj. Now, Sri Sai Baba returned the 9 rupees that he had collected before and accepted this rupees 10. Thus fulfilling the vow of Appa Kulkarni. Devotees, remember, if we assure or vow, then we need to fulfill that. Otherwise, it becomes a debt. To avoid this hassle for Appa Kulkarni, Sri Sai Maharaj took the trouble of reaching to him and collected the dakshana money. Similarly, a devotee by named Sabal, his mother wanted to offer 50 paisas dakshana out of the 1 rupee she had. So, she sent her son to get change for 1 rupee. He got a 50 paisa and 2 25 paisa coins. In the meantime, her thoughts changed. And instead of offering a 50 paisa coin, she only gave a 25 paisa coin. Immediately, Sri Sai asked her, "Oh mother, why do you want to take the 25 paisa coin of a poor Brahmin?" Sri Sai Baba is very stern. He would not leave the devotee until he collected the money that was vowed by him to offer. Devotees might ponder, why should Sri Sai Maharaj take this effort to collect the debt that was assured or thanks offering vowed by a devotee to the Lord? It's because if the assurance or thanks offering is not fulfilled, then that becomes a hindrance to him to enjoy the merits of his own good karma. One cannot enjoy the complete grace of the Lord as this debt obstructs from enjoying the blessings. This obstruction is removed by Sri Sai Maharaj by collecting the debt in the form of dakshana. So, dakshana is not collected by Sri Sai Baba for his welfare, but for the devotee's well-being. The onlookers, seeing this behavior of Sri Sai Maharaj, might think that the dakshina is collected owing to his attachment towards money, or he is troubling the devotees unnecessarily by repeatedly asking money, and sometimes even make them borrow from others for the sake of offering dakshina to him. But in reality, Sri Sainath Maharaj, by collecting dakshina, has cleared our debt and paved way for us to enjoy the benevolent grace of the Lord and lead a happy life. The core principle behind most of the miracles narrated in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA related to dakshina is stated in chapter 24 by Hemat Panji as asserted by Sri Sai Maharaj, that debt, enmity and murder must be atoned for, as there is no escape. In a Leela related to Shama, Sri Sai Baba said, "You vowed to goddess Saptashringi when you were in trouble and forgot to honor it, so I had to struggle a lot to relieve you from that debt." Sri Sai had to say this to justify to Shama that he is not trying to be impartial with devotees, rather works as per the law of karma. He only relieves them from their karmic debt, enabling them to enjoy the grace of the Lord. He adds, when there is a need, you become very devoted and humble, but when your goal is achieved, you don't care for it. Of my devotees, the one without any debt brings me happiness. The purpose of asking dakshina to devotees by Sri Sai Maharaj is made very clear in his assertions. To conclude, the money collected as dakshina by Sri Sai Maharaj is not to support his livelihood or to fulfill his desire for money, but only to clear the debt that we owe to the great Lord and reap the choicest blessings. Now, Sri Sai Maharaj begins to tell a parable story. The gist of the parable can be understood only by the one to whom it is meant. This is the greatness of his utterances, while others cannot comprehend what Sri Sai Maharaj says. In the initial days, this person led a very poor life. He vowed to the Lord that if he gets a job within a time, then he will offer his first month's salary to the Lord. In a short while, he got a job but forgot all about his promise to the Lord. His first month's salary was rupees 15. Eventually, it increased proportionately to rupees 30, then rupees 60. Thus, it doubled and tripled. Over a period, he ended up receiving rupees 70, but completely forgot his vow to the Lord. His karmic act pulled him to this place now, and I collected his dues for me, that is rupees 15, and delivered it to the place it was due. Devotees, please give your attention to the assertions of Sri Sai Maharaj. In the first instance, Sri Sai Baba said the person vowed to the Lord his first month's salary. But now Sri Sai Maharaj says, I have collected my dues of rupees 15 from this person. This shift in the term between Lord and I testify that the Lord to whom we owe and the one who is seated in Dwarakamai in human form, whom we call lovingly as Sri Sai Baba, is none other than the incarnation of that Lord. This is not our imagination or exaggeration or just a declaration by Sri Sai Maharaj, but has been proved skillfully through this divine sport that he and the Lord are one and the same. Hence, this OV is considered more significant. The above parable story was narrated by Sri Sai Maharaj to Shyama in the presence of those two Goa gentlemen. The above story explains the incident that took place in the life of the first gentleman from whom Sri Sai Baba collected rupees 15 as dakshina. This person began to shed tears profusely because every word that was pronounced by Sri Sai Maharaj depicts the incidences so vividly, and all of it is true and not mere imagination. Now, Sri Sai Baba began to narrate the story of the second person. We shall heed to those mind-boggling stories in the coming episode. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.